Hey guys, so I'm back to you with another video on my channel. I come to you with just tips and advice for motherhood on Mondays, and then I do meal planning on Thursdays. Today I'm going to get into the 3 C's of finding a daycare for your baby. If you want to learn more about this, stay tuned. Okay, so guys, finding a daycare can be traumatizing. I'm not being over dramatic, okay? Some of these daycares got like 8-month waiting lists, and you're just like, she or he is still in the womb. How am I supposed to know and have a daycare already picked out? So yeah, so my husband and I, we got to work. I'm going back to work in like 6 to 8 weeks after she's born, and so I was like, okay, we need to start looking at daycare. So I think around 32 weeks, I started really looking. And y'all, let me tell you, the first place I called. So the first place I called, she was already like, oh yeah, I'm sorry, but we have an 11-month waiting list. I'm like, what? How, Sway? How? So at that moment, I realized, okay, I need to get more serious about really finding a daycare. And so I came up with the 3 C's of daycare and what I'm looking for. So the first C is cost, second C is credential, third C is care. Okay, so when you're on this daycare journey, you're going to see a bunch of daycares, just a whole bunch, and you're going to get a little overwhelmed, but it's going to be okay, all right? It's going to be okay because guess what? You started early. And so for us, we checked out 3 daycares in total. The 3 things we looked for were cost, credentials, and care. That was the first and most important thing to look at. So cost-wise, so we had a range, we had a budget of exactly what we wanted to spend, and we were actually willing to increase that budget if we needed to. But we had generally had a number that we thought would cover daycare, and if we needed to go up, we would do that. So we checked out 3 daycares in total. The first one was like on the lower price. The second one was on the extreme high price. And then the third one was in the middle. And so what ended up happening was, with cost, we liked the first daycare, but there was a few things where we were like, I don't know. Let's go check out the other daycare. And so we checked out the other daycare, and like it was extremely expensive, very expensive, but a very nice daycare. And so then the one in the middle, they actually had a wait list. So we didn't even get to check that one out as far as being able to look at it. But it was right in the middle for price range. So the next C is credentials. For credentials, this might not matter to you, but for us, it did matter to us. When we picked out when we were deciding whether what daycare we would like, credentials was something that we wanted to know. We wanted to know if the daycare was actually licensed. Yes, we know that. We know that there's some awesome mom and pops daycares out there. And even when I was a child, I went to a daycare that was not credentialed, and I turned out just fine. But for us, we did want to have a daycare that was credentialed. And so that was a big deal for us. And the last C is care. Care is actually the most important. It's the most thorough, because when you're thinking about the care for your child, you start to really break down and think about, what do you need as a mommy? And that can be very different for everyone. Some moms, they want to be able to interact with their child through the daytime. In one of the daycares, they really encouraged that. They had cameras in every single room. They had ways that you could text message your child throughout the day, able to send pictures, as well as be able to come in and nurse at any time during the daytime. Another thing to look at was, will they be able to store the breast milk? So I plan to breastfeed my child. Will they be willing to adapt to those practices that you have instilled in your household? Another one is cleanliness. So with daycares, you have children just running around, and just being a child. And so, and also for young ones, you got to think about germs and hand washing and all that stuff. So that's something to think about when you're looking at daycares, as well as what is their sick policy. um, um, will they allow kids to come if they're vomiting? How long does that child have to stay home? These are things to think about. Another thing that is a part of care is the actual hours. What hours do they actually offer? Some daycares, they offer part-time, some offer full-time, and some offer after hours, as well as like time periods where you can have like date nights, and they will charge a certain price, be able to have date nights available to you for your children. So after looking at those C's, cost, credentials, and care, you really have to then narrow down, what do you need for your child? What is like extremely important, and what are you willing to pay for it for your child? So after looking at all those items, we were able to narrow down a daycare. And so we were really excited to be able to put down a deposit and have a daycare ready for when she's born. So, of course, we're not going to put her daycare right away, but it will be at least 8 weeks before we actually enroll her. So we're excited about what that's going to take. And mommies, I know, like even me, uh, going through the process was super nerve wracking. And like, I know when she's actually out and we actually take her to the daycare, um, it's going to be a difficult time. But I'm just trusting God that she will be okay and she'll do great. Another thing that we looked at was where our friends actually took their child. And so that was actually really, really comforting, knowing that we knew someone whose child was actually at that particular place. I hope this video was helpful, and I hope you're able to find the care that your child needs, whether that's daycare, nannying, or even if you're deciding to stay home with your child. Just, really trust your mommy instincts and go with it. Talk to you soon. Bye.